see though is we saw this inversion on the monthly. And so known fact right now, right? We took this liquidity, closed back below 50% on the monthly, or rather we are going to close back below 50% on the monthly. What does this mean? Well, this means on the macro level, we have about 16 days left for this candle to close above 5%, to determine whether or not this is the bottom for everything, really. I'll basically put it as bluntly as that. In the next 16 days, we will know, based on this monthly close, whether or not this is going to be the bottom or roughly somewhere in this zone. Basically, whether or not we are touching the 7%. I think the main question I like to ask here is whether or not we are going to be touching this 7.3%. And again, if we are going to be dumping that low, what I'd want to see is consolidation over the next few days within this range, and more dumping in the crypto market. For me personally, I am not convinced. I like to think that candles are, they like to show you what they want you to see, not the truth. And especially the current open candle right here in the monthly means that we have 16 days left. A lot can happen in 16 days. So if we're going back down to the daily, really, I want to keep it simple here for you guys. This zone at the 4.9, and also for those of you who aren't aware, USDTD, I know I'm getting ahead of myself slightly. USDTD is the chart which basically determines the dominance of the US dollar tether. And effectively, when this goes down, when this chart goes down, that means the crypto market as a whole will be pumping. If this goes up, then the crypto market as a whole will go down and dump. So I like to kind of tune my brain and my charting analysis, starting with this as opposed to any other chart. Even Bitcoin, I would say Bitcoin follows this chart even more, right? So, and any coin that you ever want to think of trading, start with this one first and then do that coin. So I would advise you guys as well and challenge you guys to do that too. So two things to note here, right? We are in the Monday open equal range. Sorry, we are back in range. The Monday open candle has opened, right? And we are now descending back down to the 4.9. So I have two probabilities here. If we actually take the 4.9 and we are so close to it, if we take this, I would actually see this as a range confirmation, assuming this when this happens, we then reverse back above 4.9. If we reverse back above 4.9, then I'm actually looking to short, right, into a long, right, into a potential long. So I'd be shorting when this happens, right down here. Currently, I'm flat. I didn't actually take this deviation. I didn't go long here, but I'm effectively waiting to see if we do one of two things. If we break back above, so there's two possibilities. The yellow line here, if we break back above this on this daily candle and are unable to take this liquidity, that would actually show me that we intend to consolidate. So orange, right? If we tend to consolidate in this range more, then I would actually be more inclined that we are heading to the 7%, which means that we are going to see probably the biggest crypto dump in a long time, right? And that will be the bottom, right? Right when we go down here, up here, that'll be the real bottom. So until then, whether or not we play this or not is really determining on, for me, as simple as whether or not we touch the 4.9 and what happens afterward. So once we touch the 4.9, if we get back into range, I would be looking to short right from the 4.9 back up to the 5.4. So once we get back to the 5.4, that would be a good spot to long, because then really what would be happening would be we'd have a potential higher high, and obviously if you lower high, which would basically, if you do patterns, that would be the head and shoulders, right? Same thing there. And if you do ICT or SMR concepts, this would be the SMR, right? SMC, right? SMC concepts, this would be the SMR right there. So this would be a range confirmation, which means that we would be longing around the 5.37. So what does that mean for Bitcoin? What does that mean for the rest of the coins? I'll cover Bitcoin really quick here, and then I'll jump into the rest of the coins here. As you can see, this is almost identical inverted to the USDTD chart, right? I have the same level marked here with the SMR at 63,850. If we break this, I'm waiting on that. I'm effectively going to say that this Monday range, if we do not break this to the high, we are not going to have a market structure break, which means that this range will actually be held and we'll see a lower low, right? So effectively, I'm waiting to do a short. I would want to see us close back below 63,300 because those are an equal high that was taken. So we are all basically almost there. Right now it's unconfirmed, right, on this range, because as soon as we break above this, so I mean we're going to see this very soon, but as soon as we break above this, the next couple 4-hour candles, this is going to be a pretty big impulse. It could be really a pretty big impulse considering how many equal highs are here. And if you are long, just aware of that. And then depending on the reaction at this level, I would only long at the retest, assuming we do not break above these highs. I'm actually going to be incredibly bearish if we break above these highs in one impulse. If we break above these highs in one impulse and go up to like 83, for example, then I would actually be incredibly bearish and expect us back to close back in range. If we do not take the equal highs and stay in range here, I would actually wait for the retest at the 57,900 because this market structure break after the Monday would mean that we are confirming that range, right? So that would be a little better. I would like that probability a little better. I'll mark that in green. And then last but not least, in the next, I guess, roughly two, maybe 2 or 3 4-hour candles, if we then close under the 63,200, even just slightly, I'm going to be looking to short heavily, right, with the stop right at this. This is incredibly high RR, right, because this would be the Monday range right there. So you could stop right at the 64 roughly, or the 63,890, and then go, stop loss break even at 60. Right, even right at here, the blue lines effectively, blue and green right there. So, and then obviously, considering we wouldn't have a market structure break, we wouldn't have a higher high, right, on that range, then I would expect this liquidity down here to be taken, which means that we would probably have a cascading liquidation at least down to 50K roughly. So full target for that short would probably be around 5,200, maybe 5,400, yeah. Oh, hey, Saul. Hey, how you doing? Welcome. I haven't seen you around here. I guess I'm also like super busy, so I usually just only play high time frame plays. So glad to see a new face. Appreciate you joining. Always glad to see new people. Cool. So hopefully I answered your question. Same thing with ETH. It's a little bit different though with ETH, because with ETH, we do have a higher SMR here. So I am more bearish, which is actually kind of strange, all things considered. I'm more bearish on ETH than I am on Bitcoin, because the impulse that could happen to the downside here would be the fact that the draw would actually be these equal lows at 2,700. And really the only open liquidity, I actually have an alert here, as you can see, would be the 2,400. What I'd like to see on this weekly and the daily here on ETH would be if we confirm this range and we get this weekly candle wick through and then close above that inversion at the very least. So this inversion on blue, right? The first blue, the 2,400. If we can do that, that would actually be very clean, because we could then have this range to go off of, and then this would be the new SMR that we'd be dealing with. And then the range low we would be entering on the retest for would be roughly in the 2,600 level. So this is green right here, right? Somewhere around there for a range extension, at least to this OB, right? The 4,400. So expecting slightly bearish activity. I think one limits I have, if we do an extension, depending on how we do this extension here, some alts showing similar signature. I think for those of you who were with me last week, I told you guys about Ondo, and we are manipulating to the upside of this range, right? We took this range. Wow, this is a very thick line here. I'm going to make it white. Right, so this is slightly bearish, or sorry, slightly bullish right here on this lower time frame range on the daily. But then if we go to the weekly, right, we did support this OB, and effectively what I'd expect to see is if we do take another retest of this range right here, I would want to see something like up and then back down, because the reaction at these levels, there's a lot of confluences at these levels before we see something. Oh, Sherlock, welcome. Glad to see you around.
Hey man, thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. I love catching you around here. Appreciate it. Thanks for joining. Cool. So yeah, that about sums those up. I think ETH I did total. One of the things I really like about total 3 actually is the high time frame here. We are making this monthly candle incredibly bullish, and obviously we have 16 days left on it, and we did take the inefficiencies to the downside. But we do have these, these equal highs up here at 722 billion. So I would like to see possibly this same range held, and effectively something like this on total 3, where this becomes the deviation. We support the 560 billion range, and then we bounce from there, right, to the to take the 785. And that would be a pretty clean setup on the monthly. So if you're looking to scale into alts, I think we'd have a great confirmation within the next like 2 to 3 weeks. I could see September, right? Roughly September, maybe late August, September to be the retest range for the alts. And that will basically be the point where we want to look to scale in heavy if this range holds, because we would be targeting at least 780, if not more, 780 billion on total 3 for any altcoin, really. But yes, happy to, if you guys have coins, I'll leave this open now. If you guys have coins you want to take a look at, now that I've kind of captured all of the high level stuff, please post it in chat, and then we'll take a look at those next. Sol, okay, yes. Let's do that one. So Sol is interesting here because right on the monthly, we are rebalancing to this range, right? If we talk about the actual balance of range here, the 50% level is the 165. So run 65, price will try and balance back to 165 from this monthly order block that was formed back here, that was actually respected as well, right, when we had that first drop. So what I'd actually, this is a little outdated now, let me delete that. What I'd actually like to see on Sol is, so we have two, I'll keep things simple for you guys. So on the weekly here, this is pretty straightforward. We have 2 SMRs right here and right here. I'd expect the high, right, the draw here to be on the daily, the lower time frames to be the, that smooth OB here. So at least taking this. And then probably have some reaction back down at the 145. But really, I do want to see this rebalancing happening, right? Because even if we do break through back down to 145, I'd want to see it rebalance back up to at least 165. And then I'd actually look for shorts back it from there, because on the higher time frames here, right, it's going to need to break the 176 in order to actually do a full weekly reversal. And this is a pretty clear inefficiency area at the 163 to 167. Once we start to see some daily ranges building here, but we do have quite a bit of liquidity on the downside still. So even consolidation here, I'd say is slightly. I'm going to lean slightly bearish, right? Because we have 2 SMRs, we have open liquidity here. This is not, this is one right here. It's not as clean, slightly not as clean. But these 2 ranges are pretty clean, and this inversion has actually been respected already, right? So if I you see the yellow right here, we've already closed below this inversion at 157, and we're about to close below another inversion, right? We've already closed below another inversion at 162. So effectively, I would be looking to short once we get back above 163 and 167. I'd be looking to long if we can. Well, if we can't break this range, as I said, right, with USDT, if we can't break this range, I'm actually even more bearish. So I'd actually not. Maybe I'd long on the bounce here, but I wouldn't be surprised if this weekly candle basically becomes a new bearish SMR, because we have 1, 2, 3 taps on that range, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if this weekly candle turns bearish if we do end up sweeping, because we do have an incredibly large amount of thin liquidity there. SHIB, yes, great. I will, in the interest of time to get everyone's requests here, I'll jump through. So SHIB, yeah, SHIB is kind of interesting too, because we do not have, we're like right on the cusp on this monthly candle too. Like this got 16 days. This is a little iffy. I'll admit this is a little iffy. I'd want to see us close this monthly candle above 18,398 to be bullish, because the same thing could happen, right? This could be a bearish, effectively what you'd call a bearish retest. So here's the target. There's at least one, maybe 2 targets. There's another inversion there with a couple order blocks, right? 1, 2. This is actually pretty good levels. Similar levels down up here. If we do see this range break, right, something like that could easily be just a bearish, right? Like this, something like this could build, right? And then you have a, what you might call like a bear flag, right? If you're doing patterns, I'd kind of expect SHIB to do something like this, because one of the things that I do not like about the SHIB chart is the fact that we do have this inefficiency that's down here. But I would say it would be tapping that as the draw only if we can't close above 18.3, right? 18.3 is the magic number here for me. If we can get that closure within the month, right? Within the month, if we get that closure, then this chart would be printed as such where the highs would be more likely taken at this equal high, right? The 2.9. So I'd be more I'd be more bullish there. Yes, thanks, Saul. Catch you later. I missed you. Pepe is, I think I looked at it a long time ago. It's been a while. Yeah. So for Pepe, this one, this one's a little tricky because on one hand, the high time frames look bullish, right? Even but on the lower, like effectively still see the same representation of this daily range being taken to the upside and then closed back below. So like a lot of these charts are showing very similar signatures, and even if you look at some of them have equal lows right here. Like this is effectively leads me to believe that this is not the real bottom. And that, here's the open inefficiency on the daily right down there, right? So the white really, what I would like to see with Pepe would be if we then take this, if we're unable to take this as a market structure break, and then we descend down, and then we break back above, that would be more bullish for me. That would be the bullish scenario. But here I still want to see. I still want to see this Monday range break. It did respect this daily gap already. So really, if we close right now, I'd say we're already going to be retesting. So I'm leaning slightly bearish on that. And going back to USDTD, right? I'm sorry. We haven't taken the 4.9, so. Basically, the next daily candle for me would determine whether or not we switch bullish or bearish. But I'm leaning bearish still because I don't think this is the bottom. But that's just personally me, right? Is there any other coins you guys have before I I head out, and then again, just this is the Monday range too, so I'd rather just personally I like waiting to take the Monday range. So if we take the Monday range, I would actually take the short from here. But otherwise, yeah, just if you're on longs, congrats. If you're not, then don't worry. This might not be the bottom, and we'll get the retest, right? Oh, DYM. I actually haven't looked into DYM too much. Is it a layer 2? Do you know? Can you like give me a little insight on it, but save me some time of researching? I know some layer 2s they're actually looking really nice because like I think Starknet looks really clean here. We got 2 ranges with a couple SMRs, and they're actually going to be slightly breaking back above. So I'm waiting on Starknet. Like this one, honestly, could go to $4 from this range. This is pretty clean because this is going to make a market maker buy if we confirm this SMR. So yeah, if you're not in like some layer 2s already, like definitely look for entries. I'm going to be looking for entries on this one very soon because I want to see whether or not this is the real SMR. Probably placing bids on this later. And then I think there's a couple others, like Wormhole is another one, but then I forgot if it's not a layer 2, but Wormhole another one. I have mine drawn up. I'm probably going to take a short into a long possibly. And then there's ARB. ARB's another layer 2 that I'm a fan of. Pretty clean range as well. I'd want to see it. I'd want to see it confirm the high time frame range. So the red level here. I'll make this a little thicker, right? We confirm the higher time frame range. We break above, tap back below for the retest, range low. Then we'll have both the first range, the range entry, the deviation, and then the retest. And then at that point, this thing, if that's confirmed as the higher high, right? This thing could easily go and break all bearish confluences back above this previous SMR, right? This previous SMR would then be invalidated, which means that it would be entering a new range back above 4. So I'm waiting on ARB as well. I think this is going to line up to like September roughly. I know my lines probably aren't like timeline specific, but I'm thinking late August, September, we'll probably see some sort of retest of range, assuming this is going to be the long. DYM layer 1 launch roll-ups on its mainnet. Oh yeah, like an ETH competitor. Right. Roll-ups are a big tech. Not a huge fan of them on like a fundamental level, but yeah, I mean in terms of just kind of solving a problem, they do solve a problem pretty decently. But I do like this chart because this is a very similar chart to the other one I was mentioning, right? We do have a SMR to the downside first, and if this gets invalidated, right? If we hold this range, I would say the first level of confirmation for me would be, yeah, right about here. So we would want to have a break daily close above 1.5 roughly. So as soon as we have a break daily close, a break and then mount of 1.5, then I will look to go long on this. Until then, I'm not going to touch it. But I would say just keep your eyes peeled on that. Let's check the higher time frames. Yeah, we could, even if we pump just a little bit more, right? This inefficiency still held. So I'd actually expect something like this to happen, even if we do print a new high like that. So I'm gonna draw that up, right? This is probably more reasonable of an expectation if we pump through to 1.8 possibly, and then make one more low before we actually confirm this is the SMR's range, right? So that's something to watch out for DYM. I think we're very, very close if this is going to be the range low. Cool. Well, yeah, that's it from me today. Hope that was insightful, and wish you guys the best of luck and happy trading. Happy Monday. Stay green. And yeah, I will catch you guys all on the flip side. Feel free to just pay me if you have anything, and yeah, have a good week.